Innovation Unplugged from the Alabama Community College System's Innovation Center takes you inside Alabama's workforce development. Join us for enlightening conversations with community leaders and industry experts showcasing experiences, addressing key issues, and celebrating successes in the workforce initiatives across the state. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Innovation Unplugged. This one is going to look a little different. I'm Houston Blackwood, Workforce Director for the ACCS Innovation Center. I'm excited about this one. We went down to Bishop State out of the studio, and we recorded conversations with Thomas Prater, Brad Wallace, James Williams, and one of their students, Quintez Finch. And so I think you're going to enjoy the authentic stories that come from this. It's going to look and sound a little different. We're trying to get on site and be in with our people who are doing the thing every day. But we're gonna run this thing out, and I think you're going to enjoy how all this looks. But first, we're going to jump into a conversation with Thomas Prater and Brad Wallace, and really discover how their relationship started, and then how talent recognized talent, and then moved into the future of Bishop State CDL driver training.
Yeah, so basically I was driving my racing hauler all over the United States, probably around 2011, 2012, around there. Back before anyone really knew that you had to have a CDL to drive, personal stuff. And got pulled over in Kentucky, no CDL, no logbook, no physical, no anything. Luckily, there was some state trooper that came out, knew who I was, let me go. Failure, just with one ticket, failure to stop at the weigh station. Could have been really bad. So he basically told me, don't come through here again until you get your CDL. So obviously I contacted Bishop State, and Mr. Brad answered, and he actually tested me for my CDL about 2012.
Which he did miserably in the beginning.
Yeah, was not a good back because at the time I was driving a dually with a gooseneck. So I go to Bishop State, and he's like, here's the keys. Go hook up to one of those trailers. I'm like, okay, let's try it out.
With the kingpin?
Yeah, with a kingpin. And I'm like, okay, let's try it out. So long story short, the whole time I was giving the road test, I kept looking over at him, and he was just shaking his head the whole time. I actually think I failed once, maybe twice.
So what he did was he messed it up considerably bad, and because he didn't know. But we stopped the test. I did like a 15-minute class with him, and he's the only guy I've ever seen that are teaching for 37, 38 years that I told him one time what to do, and we went right back up and he did it, and he did it perfectly. So he's very talented, but some of his background driving race cars helped him out. But I was very impressed at how fast he picked up what I asked him to do, and then he passed the test.
Yeah, kept racing for a while, and then actually texted. Him and his dad came to Talladega. We invited him to Talladega one year, and they came and we became friends, and we talked pretty regularly. And one night I said, hey, is there anything that I can do with my CDL part-time? And he says, well, why don't you come teach over here? So I was part-time teaching the night class, and then it turned into I started the weekend program.
Roma got so big, we had to bring on another instructor, and
I think that was 2018, 2019. And so then started the weekend program, did that for about 4 or 5 years, maybe less than that. And now I teach during the week, Monday through Thursday.
And the whole time we doing all this, he's recruited me to be his pit guy. So I worked it on the race cars during the week in the afternoons after class. And then when he goes to the races, I travel with him, be on the pit crew.
Well, actually, my dad invited him and his dad to Talladega, and I really didn't know him. I mean, I knew he tested me and he helped me out, but I really didn't know him. And then him and his dad and maybe a couple other people came, and then we just became friends after that.
Okay. And my dad was diagnosed with cancer. This was 2015. Or 2014, and my dad's been to a lot of races, and my parents lived in St. Augustine, Florida, so he goes to Daytona all the time. Big NASCAR fan. And when he got diagnosed with cancer, I asked his dad, I says, can you get us tickets to Talladega? He says, I'll do even better than that. I'll get y'all in the pit with us. And it was my last year my dad lived, and he got to see Talladega. He's never been to Talladega. It was the best day ever for him. And thanks to his dad and Thomas, they made it very special.
Yeah. Right.
So there's a lot of history here. There's a lot of history in that ponytail too.
Tell us about ponytail.
The short of it is I got tired of paying for haircuts. And it was just so easier to let it grow.
I call him, depending on who I'm talking to, I refer to him as the ponytail man. You know, instead of Mr. Brad, everybody knows who he is when you say the ponytail man. Oh, okay, yeah. Of course, the one thing I will say though, whenever we first started hanging out, Talladega, his ponytail started here. So,
Well, the reason I hired him because when I tested him, I seen how good he was and how fast he picked it up. I said, this guy's going to be great. So I hired him, and I didn't realize how good he was. He's basically taken half my work off me. By now, he can do everything I can do, sometimes even better. So I knew he was a special guy to help come into this field and maybe take over for me when I'm gone, which I don't have very many years left doing this. I enjoy it, and as long as I still enjoy it, I'll still do it. But there's going to be one day I got to go, and I've built this program from nothing to what it is now, and I take pride in that, and I want to see somebody to take it over after me, and I can see that in him. And that's why I hired him.
yeah, and the biggest thing that I've learned from Mr. Brad over these years is that he does everything for the benefit of the students. If it's not going to help the students in any way, we don't do it. There may be some wild ideas that he has sometimes and some crazy stuff that he makes us do, but he always has the school and the students first in everything he does.
All right, that was a great chat with Brad and Thomas, Thomus, if you will. That's a really funny story about how he got that name in NASCAR. But next conversation is with me and James Williams, and James just really pours into his students, and I fell in love with his passion for his students. So I think you're going to enjoy where he comes from and how he really describes his approach to driver training. Check this out.
We've known each other a long time, and I've always been impressed by your desire to do more for the students, to add into them, right? To pour into what their experience is. So give me a background about how you got to Bishop State CDL and why you bring that fire to these kids' lives.
Mainly because I started out in the Mobile County public school system. I was mainly special education, special needs. I ended up getting my master's degree in special education at Alabama State. So when I transitioned to adult ed, it was a good move because it helped me be able to focus on how to help the students that needed help to build them up to where they needed, to make sure I can meet their potential.
So you have your master's already, or are you getting it now?
I have a master's degree in special education.
Gotcha. So how did you transition from all of that? Because in special ed is a lot of things. Like, when I was a kid, there were in the 80s, 90s, special ed had a different connotation than it does now. There's so many things, which really just means like you've got to differentiate, So how do you do that for your students? How do you take that differentiation idea from adult ed in general into the CDL instruction?
Mainly use the different ways to learn, hands-on, by listening, and just make sure they understand what the process is, and then mainly to do with hands-on with truck driving.
How did you get from adult ed into the truck driving? Was it at the same time?
No, I've been at Bishop State since 2006 in the adult ed program, mainly just adult basic education instructor. In 2019, because the CDL program started doing the CDL-B course inside of adult ed, because I had a CDL the whole time. They said, well, Mr. Williams, we're going to send you to CDL school so you can become a third-party examiner, and it ended up being a blessing.
Well, that's how we met a long time ago, working with adult ed and trying to figure out how at Bishop, adult ed and workforce and CDL are kind of three different divisions. It's the only place in the state like that. So when the Innovation Center started, I was trying to sort out how it was going to work at every campus. And then I got here and y'all had these three different divisions. I'm like, what in the world? Like I've never seen this before, but it was so good because each division had this huge impact, important, and you get that central middle. When we met, we started talking, and I could see then that you wanted to add all kinds of stuff to the students' credentials when they were done. So tell us about just some of those things that you do and why you keep pouring into it.
Well, because we have the ACE online course and the MAPS. ACE is Alabama Certified Employee, and MAPS is Mobilizing Alabama Pathways. Because we utilize those online resources, that makes it a little bit easier for me as a classroom instructor because I'm able to use that as an additional tool to make sure going into the workforce that they, because I always let them know you're going into the job overqualified. Because you have not just the classroom instruction, you got online, instructions that help you be able to do better in today's workforce. And so when we move on to forklift CDL, I already know that students are able to complete tasks.
So how many students have you had that have gone through the CDL and gone through forklift and gone and used both in a job?
I've had maybe up to somewhere between 40 to 50 students that went on it, mainly to do more so CDL than forklift. We want to have more students that we can verify that got jobs.
Yeah.
But we've had more CDL students to CDLB through the adult ed program move on to get jobs. Like Finch was the very first one.
Yeah.
Quintez Finch, when I call him my number one soldier.
Well, we're going to talk to him too in a minute, which is a story all in itself. And we've told that story 1,000 times and not been able to capture it in a real conversation. Hearing the story about how Brad and Thomas got connected, and just seeing that dynamic, and they saw quality. Brad saw quality, and Brad saw the next generation, right? He saw the successor, and then for his Class A. So as you look forward to like what's next for you, like what's the next thing you're going to do for this program to bring it from where it was moving forward, so when you walk away one day, it's way better than it was when you started?
Well, I definitely depend on Brad. I follow his leadership to the T. He's a special person at the CDL campus. He is well known across the state. When we go do to be able to be certified.
Oh yeah.
In Montgomery, normally go to Trenton every year to recertify. But that's when I know that Brad got my back, and he always gives me the best advice as far as what to do, how to do it, and then also gives me the leverage, to do it the way I need to get it done.
Yeah, the freedom and the
flexibility.
Yeah. So you showed me a while back a plan you have for forklift, and so the ACE, the MAPS, the forklift, the OSHA, you had OSHA in there too, and the Class B CDL. What's next? What other crazy flavor are you going to add to this recipe?
I eventually did skid steer earlier this year. I want to add on bulldozer and excavator.
Yeah.
And asphalt, I think, is something that we'll be able to do here at Bishop State through workforce development. And then I want to be able to, if possible, offer that at the CDL campus. Mainly forklift is I know something that I can do. What I have now may not be the skills for success forklift course that I could that we could possibly offer at the CDL campus, but that's on my agenda.
Yeah. So would you take that those heavy equipment courses and then maybe add in the component of like trailering and binding and chains? Because we don't teach that in a normal CDL course, but if you're going to really pour into those kind of kids that are going to go to a construction company and transport large machines, like, is that something you could do?
Yeah, I like to take on a challenge. I like to see what the students are doing so I can better help. Because if I took the skid steer class myself with the theory side, and then I'll move on to the hands-on, so when they're doing it, I have a better idea of how I can help, how long it should take, and just try to master my craft as far as being the best type of instructor and trainer, that I can be.
Yeah, and really creating those overqualified students. I love that.
Going to the job overqualified.
Yeah. We talked yesterday to the Alabama County Commissions Association. And so the guys who maintain all the dirt roads, maintain all the roads not in the city. And they talked about having a flagger and traffic control course. And they don't necessarily hire for that, but anybody that has that, they snatch them.
Yeah.
And they want that person on their team. And so I see that too. Like if these students if we had a course that maybe you helped us design, but it was trailering, binding, chains, and then in addition to the Class A, CDL Class B, it would be really good.
Yeah.
I see that. Good future.
I think I did see some of those things inside of the skid steer theory coursework that I did as far as type of asphalts and the front to the beginning to the end process as far as what happens in that type of industry. So I'm always willing to learn more You know, I'm a left-handed person, so
Oh, you're creative. You're one of those creatives.
I've been checking and see that it was National Left-Handers Day back August the 13th. I didn't know a lot about it, but I've been investigating it ever since. So learned a lot of good stuff.
So two employees on our team that drive me crazy because they're always coming up with ideas are both left-handed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm like, how did I hire two left-handed people on the same team? But it's good because their ideas are always out of left field, but they're so good and they're so detailed. So it's good stuff.
All right, you can tell how much James loves his students and loves what he does every day. And you're going to hear in the next segment how he really applies that. And hear from a student. Quintez Finch came to the Innovation Center in Bishop State early on in our CDL training model. So I think you're going to really love the interaction and what Quintez did and what he helped Bishop figure out, how that became their model for helping all students who are in Quintez's situation in life.
Well, initially, we in the Adult Ed program was doing the CDLB course with Michael Lott and then Shannon Lott was two instructors that initially came from the CDL campus to do the CDLB course. Then eventually, because Mr. Spears, the Dean of Workforce Development, he was always setting it up for me to eventually do the course myself. So the first course that I was able to do, just independent as the primary instructor, Quintez Finch was part of that class. It was 4 people in that class, and he was outstanding as far as the classroom side. He was real aggressive as far as trying to get to the permit. He was trying to upgrade from where he was, working at Postal Service at the time. So he was able to get over, he got the permit in a short period of time, like was featured in the first video that he did, and then moved on to eventually get a job at Coastal Ready Mix. So I was always willing to, I wanted to see, you know, what his elevation was as far as going from where he was and meeting his goal. So that was real special for me to be able to be there and see, you know, his progress to get to where he is now.
It was good. It was smooth, easy. I got to where I wanted to be in life, and I'm making good money. They supported me real good. They knew what I wanted, and I was aggressive, and they stood by me. I was nervous, but I think we drove one day. I was nervous my first time, you know, doing it behind the wheel, and I kind of broke in and started driving like a regular car. When I finished the skill test, I was ready to get a job. I was motivated to get a job.
I try to make known that between Florida and Louisiana, you're gonna be able to do well in the CDL truck driving industry because of you know what's going on down here. Brad has helped me out with that a lot as far as being able to kind of see into the future with the Mobile River Bridge and Bayway project, especially with CDLB, because we just know that there's gonna be a lot of dump trucks, there's gonna be a lot of cement mixers associated with that bridge project. So I let the students know that you get a CDL here in this local area from Florida to Louisiana, you know, you're gonna be able to do well. Finch and I, we started out, we talked about $20 an hour is what a student is worth with just a permit. And Finch, he took that information and got on with Coastal Ready Mix and was making maybe about $17, $18 an hour starting out. But because I think this, what we focused on, he was able to move up to Bayou Concrete was the name of that company at the time. So now I think it's MMC.
Yeah.
And we are very proud of Finch that he was able to upgrade to making even better money in a short period of time. I think because the story he told me was because of he was somebody that was dependable. The dispatcher said, look here, we're gonna do what we need to do to make sure that you get compensated, you know, for your ability and professionalism. So that helps me be able to tell and instruct other students as far as if you want to get out there and do well, then we can use Finch blueprint, you know, to be able to know how to get out there and do well just locally with just CDLB. Of course, we do the CDLA as well. I do more CDLB through innovation than I do CDLA. And Brad also gives me the flexibility to do A, you know, when I need to, when I'm able to. And now we're just looking for further success, you know, with the CDLB program through the truck driving campus, and doing even better with innovation as far as making sure we're following all the steps, you know, in order. Well, that's easy to explain. I was considered to be an alternative student when I was coming up through public school. So once I finished high school and went on to college, I started to understand that some people, they start to learn better, you know, when they mature. So that's one of the things that helped me have the kind of mindset and mentality to be able to help students just regardless. I always let them know, I want to be able to take you from where you're at and build up to where you need to be. So I try to say a lot without saying too much. So that's my passion, you know, to be able to tell students that I want to put you in a situation where you can load the truck and drive the truck. So I say a lot of things over and over and over, different, I call them parables, you know, that I use in class. And I think the students, they take on to that. I did well as far as the total number of completions of forklift students. I think we was told that we the #1 IET completing course with forklift and CDL in state of Alabama, and Ms. Hobbs would appreciate me making that known that we #1 in the DODER program. But that's my passion, is to be able to help people that I can relate to the background. I think when they come in my classroom, they can relate to me as well. So I talk loosely, but I talk professional, try to inspire them. You know, give him the kind of words to do it. I'm gonna come back and see what else he got to say, you know. So that's something that I make sure we have fun in class as well. I'm stern, but I'm also, I like to laugh and, you know, make sure the students appreciate and understand that they're doing good for themselves just by being in the classroom, especially in the DODER realm, to do it. Most of the time the students, maybe they didn't do well, maybe they've been told what you can't do. So I always say, I'm not here to tell you what you can't do, I'm here to help you what you can do. We always use positive, you know, terms to make sure the students feel appreciated.
The reason I knew I needed something better, I was doing a lot of warehouse jobs. I got a lot of warehouse experience, but they were just, you know, working the crap out of me, and I wasn't really seeing no money. I was getting the hours, but I was getting paid every 2 weeks, and I really wasn't seeing no money for real. So I had to find something else better, and I had a friend that was doing CDLs. They kept telling me to get my CDLs and stuff, so that when I called Bishop State, and they told me I was approved and I could do the program, and that when I did your program and met Mr. William, and I was just motivated and hungry, and I knew I had to do better for my kids and, you know, what I need to do. It had got a little better. It had got a little better. I started seeing my kids more. I get up in the morning, probably help them get ready for school and go to work. And sometimes, you know, I was able to do stuff with them, get off at decent times, stuff like that. But now that I work for Bayou Concrete, my schedule a little better now. It's a crazy schedule because I don't have no set schedule. So like, we do a lot of big jobs. So sometimes I get up at 12, 1, 2, work 12 or 13 hours a day and stuff like that. But I'm able to see them in the afternoon and stuff like that. So I have my whole day.
You referred quite a few students to the DODER program.
Yeah, I have.
And
That I went through your program.
there's many of them that worked at the Walmart distribution center here. And at least 5 or 10 students Pinch has referred to the DODER program to do forklift and CDL. And I know at least 5 or 10 I can think of right away that moved on and got the CDL as well through Quintez Pinch.
Yeah, and there's I think 3 that went through Brad program work with me right now. Nah, I just be trying to, you know, when I go out there and visit Brad, I be trying to, you know, motivate them that they don't have to go out there on the road to make good money. You can stay home, make good money with a Class B. You know, a lot of people think Class A is a lot of money, but you can make good money doing Class B.
Mainly job well done through the DODER program with assistant students with getting a GED. That's primarily what I started out doing from 2006 all the way up to 2019. So since 2019, I've been a little bit more to do a career pathway, workforce development, skills for success. And I want to be able to look back and be able to be proud of, you know, the students that I was able to help and the knowledge that I was able to give to students to go out there and not only help themselves, but help their families and the community as well.
So all those conversations with those guys are phenomenal, and I think if you're really paying attention, you hear that they're all passionate about what they do, and it's not just a job, it's a way of life, and they want to coach their students on what that way looks like in the professional sense. So we wrapped this whole episode up really talking to Bradley about the why and where we started and where we are now. And I would say that this whole thing is about relationships, and I couldn't be more proud of where we've come with Bishop State CDL and how that relationship has evolved since we came to be. It's a beautiful testimony to not giving up on each other, trusting the process, and then just just loving on each other a little bit and making sure that the whole system is a system and not just two different entities working beside each other. Check this out. I think you're going to love it.
Brad, thanks for sitting down with us.
No problem.
You giving us all this time. So the stories with you and Thomas and that background was phenomenal, and seeing your vision for, seeing your ability to see the future in somebody, and then investing in that for so long. So take us through what it was like for you prior to the ELDT change, and you had your program and you do what you wanted, met ALEA standards. But then that transition when the Innovation Center came along, and more or less we bullet our way into the CDL world, the theory world, and the funding. So walk us through what that was like. And I encourage you to be real, because I think the audience needs to hear the end of this story as well as how it started.
Understand. We've always had a really good program down here as far as participation with students, and we've always had large classes, and I've got 18 employees. So to accommodate, the more people you bring in the program, it's a fine line to how to manage stuff. But as more people you bring in, the more help you got to have to take care of those, and more equipment you got to have. And we were rocking along pretty good, and then COVID hit, and we were all forced to change how we do things. And that's, like I said, I've been doing this for 37 years, 38 years now, and I've had my program ironed out where it just runs itself. I didn't have to do too much. Just take care of the business, manage the trucks, and I kind of run it like a business. And COVID hit and just threw a monkey wrench in everything. We had to go online, and thank goodness I hired Thomas just before that. We had to figure a way to learn how to do Canvas. We didn't know.
It's a big transition.
And get everything put into Canvas, find a program that we could get in there fast, which we used J.J. Killer at the time. Well, we've modified it to be our kind of own now. But it was a lot of hair pulling, and all that fight to get all that done. And then the Innovation Center announced, or the ACCS announced the Innovation Center, and that they're going to start CDL. And we went to this meeting in Montgomery with you, and first time I met you, and at that time I didn't like you.
No, I remember that meeting, and there was you and one other college, maybe two others, like very upset with us, and I understood it at the time, but like I had just quit a job and was taking that on, and I was like, well, I got to make this work, and I don't know, but we upset the apple cart pretty heavily, and I understood that at the time, but I didn't realize the mistake we had made, really how we did it. But walk us through that. So we had those conversations, and we had that meeting, and we were trying to figure that out. And what was that like for you?
Yeah. At the time, I was really ticked off. I paid attention to the presentations you did, and listened to everybody talk, and I could see how this could work. I was gonna have to do some juggling with it and modifying it, but I could see there was potential in it, and it could help students. And that's one of my big things, is I want to put people to work. I don't want people just to take the class to get a CDL. That's okay, but I want to see people change their lives. And I've seen a lot of life change in my career. And I've seen people come from nothing, living in a tent, to being successful. And I could see how the Innovation Center could work and how it can change lives. And that's what I tried to model what I was doing with it, because y'all pretty much gave it to us and said we could do anything we wanted to with it. And that's what I kind of did, and I kind of molded it to what worked for me and for Bishop. And without the help and back support from my president, Acarine Spears, Klaus, Dr. Turnberg, and yourself, helped me make it what we're doing now. And I think we're doing pretty good with it. We could do better, but some of the stuff y'all did with innovation, I was trying to do with mine, but I didn't have the manpower or the IT support to do what y'all did, which was what I turned to start liking about the Innovation Center.
Good. You mean the theory part, how it works,
and how he's getting it set up, and the process that y'all got to get people in and out. And
how many students? We appreciate that, but how many students do you think you've served, like just in the last, from January 1 till now?
From January 1 till now, we've done about 144 students. That's Class A and Class B together, but we really helped out a lot of people.
So it's 144 students just this year, just this 2025.
Yes, sir.
And we've been doing this 22, 23, 24, 25 now, right? So figure those numbers, but that's 144 people who've gotten a new job, which was better than their old job where they wouldn't have
Or
wanted to
upgraded their job.
or upgraded to be more, maybe more hours. And I think that word of mouth down here on the coast, of course, we tell them all the time, if you're not, if you want Class A, the flagship is over there at Bishop. One of the things that makes me most proud about everything we've done, though, I'll be honest with you, is we were talking about it outside earlier. From that first meeting in January of 2022 to watching that truck drive away, your truck with your logo and our logo on it, right? Like you chose, we didn't make you do that. We didn't even ask you. Like you chose to do that. Tell us why, why you said, let me put that logo on my truck. Because that truck is yours. That brand is yours. You built it. You built this whole thing. You said earlier from nothing. So you chose to put that brand on there right next to yours. And that means the world to us. Tell us why.
Well, I wanted to represent the Innovation Center and what they've done. And I want the students to see that logo on that truck, how the Innovation Center has helped them and where they can get their roots back from. There's an old song that Eminem sings that starts out with opportunity.
Yeah.
And you're going to let it pass you by or you're going to take charge of it. Now I want students or potential students to see this as an opportunity for them to change their lives and do better.
Yeah. Well, I think you've done that. I always tell folks as we start new programs that we struggle, I say, well, you guys remember, this is internal. I say, you guys remember when we started the CDL program, we didn't do it right. We didn't have the best plan, but we gave it out there and we gave it to the colleges. And teams like Bishop and Bradley's team made it work and gave us a model, right, to help other people. So whatever else we keep building.
Now, I was probably your worst enemy in the beginning.
Well, you had a lot of opinions, yes, and good ones and correct ones. And they were shared by other colleges, but now we share logos, we share the TPR, and we've got all that worked out. And so now really ultimately the barriers are out of the way for the students.
Exactly.
Who need that, who can do the short-term program. But you also still have your 4-credit running with the longer, the more traditional classroom or more traditional driver training.
Most of the people that take the 4-credit program are looking to go over the road.
Yeah.
They're making a career change. And in any truck driving program you go to throughout the state, you have to be committed to make that career change. Yeah. Because once you complete the program, your certificate is not really good at 6 to 8 months after you complete it.
Right.
Companies won't recognize it anymore. So when you get ready to do this, you need to be committed. Yeah. And make that opportunity happen for yourself. And change jobs and do what you got to do to make it work. Yeah. Truck driving's not for everybody, and everybody don't know what they think they want to do it. It's a hard life, but there's a good income in it for a lot of people that find out they can do it.
And, to get, I guess, sentimental or on the side of it, like when you think about it, infrastructure or the nation's economy, productivity, whatever, just getting the stuff to my house, so I can go to the store and buy toilet paper. Like there are, truckers bringing whatever we're doing. Like, and so it's just crazy to think about that. We don't think about as regular citizens what it takes to get the stuff on the shelf.
Exactly.
To get anywhere, to get the fuel in my car. Like,
and that's why I tell my students when I first come to class, the first question I ask them after we do our introductions is, name me one thing that you didn't get or you that cannot be delivered by a truck. And I give them to the end of the class to answer the question. And they struggle with it. They're all through the program, they're trying to find out or come tell me, what about this? What about this? What about that? I said, the truck delivered every bit of it.
every bit of it, man. Exactly. That's a really cool. I'll be honest with you, Brad. Like I look around, like I got 3 years to retirement, and what am I going to be toasting to in 5 years? Out the door. But I think the relationship that we've built, but just watching you do your thing, it's been powerful for me to see that model, that consistency, a little bit of flexibility to make things work, but seeing your consistency in delivering what the students need and what it's going to make in their lives. And I just want to say I appreciate that.
Well, thank you.
It's been
we appreciate everything you've done for us. So it was a hard road, but we made it.
Well, we made it. We made it. So it's good stuff. What are you toasting to in 5 years?
5 years, I hope to see my granddaughter graduate from high school, but also I will sit back and reflect on all the students that I've had the opportunity to touch their lives and make better.
Yeah.
That's more rewarding than any paycheck I could ever get.
Yeah. Change lives.
That's why I do what I do, because we don't make a whole bunch of money doing this.
No, state workers, teachers don't. Well, I appreciate you, Brad.
Thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure. We're not done.
No, this is the beginning.
This is just the beginning, but I appreciate everything we've done to get here.
Yes, sir.
All right.
And I appreciate it too.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Good stuff.
All right, we appreciate you listening to this unique episode of Innovation Unplugged. I hope that you enjoyed the stories and the passion that they all had for what they do and the lives that were changed by their approach. So remember to like, subscribe, and share on your favorite podcast platform, and we'll catch you next time.